OK, welcome back to Sky Sports News. It starts with some big breaking transfer news. Our reporter Michael Bridge is here to tell us more. Michael, what have you got for us?
Yeah, and it involves Chelsea and Manchester City, and it's big news. It's an incoming for treble winners Manchester City. They've agreed a deal to sign Chelsea midfielder Mateo Kovacic. So big news and a big incoming for Manchester City. Now, the fee is understood to be worth around £30 million, 25 million guaranteed, plus £5 million in performance-related add-ons. Now, we're expecting a formal announcement later today, but that's big news in terms of Manchester City starting their summer business now after a brilliant few weeks for them. And, of course, Chelsea's outgoings, which we've been talking about for the last few days, and that's a big player for Chelsea. But of course, with his contract running out at the end of next season, they've had to act, and it sounds like the player is very keen to go and play in Manchester.
Yeah, he arrived from Real Madrid, but in his time at Chelsea, he's won the Champions League, he's won the Europa League, he's won the Super Cup, he's come on the FIFA Club World Cup. He was champions of the world with Chelsea, been a runner-up in the FA Cup and the EFL Cup twice. So his contribution to Chelsea has been highly significant. But as you say, he's 29. He has 1 year on his contract. Who's got the better end of this deal, do you think?
I think a bit of both. I'd say, you know, this is a player, as you say, you've just whittled off all the honours he's had for Chelsea. He's been a real success for Chelsea. Any Chelsea fan you speak to, he's a player they love in that midfield. But this is a new era under Mauricio Pochettino. It's going to be plenty of incomings and so many outgoings, which we'll discuss here throughout the day on Sky Sports News. A few of them going to Saudi Arabia, it looks like, as well. But that central midfield is so key for Chelsea. They won't be seeing N'Golo Kante next season. We won't be looking at Kovacic next season. We'll be looking at Enzo Fernandez, potentially Moise Caicedo if they can agree a deal with Brighton. That doesn't look to be going away, does it? So real changes for Chelsea, but this is a big player. And it looks like Manchester City are strengthening their midfield with a player Pep Guardiola will know, as you say, he's won an abundance of trophies in England, and he knows he can do the job in the Premier League. Yeah,
I guess the question as well is there seems to be some excitement about a young Brazilian that Chelsea sort of signed in January, couldn't play because of his work permit. Does this open up space for perhaps him to develop? And who is this player?
Andre Santos.
OK.
So Chelsea obviously have made a number of signings over the last year under the new ownership, and there's been a few work permit issues as well. Obviously, Chelsea have tried to get that sorted as well, so that's exciting for them as well. So there's going to be so much talk and so many incomings with Chelsea over the next few weeks. But I mean, going back to Kovacic, it's some record. He's had 142 appearances in the Premier League. Oh, there it is, Rob, just like magic. 142 appearances, 4 goals, 13 assists, but the pass completion there as well. But he's more than a Mr. Reliable, isn't he? He's been a strong player in that central midfield for Chelsea, and I'm sure many supporters will be sad to see him leave.
Yeah, they certainly will. But as you say, it's this younger look that Chelsea going for now. They've freed up his wages there as well as the 30 million incoming. I would think many Chelsea fans are saying, does that mean they could perhaps negotiate more with Mason Mount, or is that a done deal? Do you think that he is definitely going?
Well, I mean, there's no update on the Mason Mount situation as of yet. There are reports that it's either Manchester United at the moment. If they can't agree a fee, of course, Chelsea would want him to stay. Mauricio Pochettino's the kind of manager I would have expected Mason Mount to love to have played under. Whether he just wants a new chapter in his career, we'll have to wait and see on that one. But what we do know is there's going to be so many ins and outs at Stamford Bridge over the next few weeks as Mauricio Pochettino moulds his new look side.
Yeah. And how many more is the feeling they need to shift out? Because you were talking about other players perhaps going to Saudi Arabia as well. Koulibaly, Mendy, Hakim Ziyech amongst those mentioned.
It's a very big squad, isn't it? And I think that's one thing we were talking about on the football show for the last few months about Chelsea's bloated squad. I think the key is as well, Rob, they're not in European competition, and Mauricio Pochettino would probably like to work with 24, 25 players. There is no Thursday night football. There is no Champions League football. So keeping certain players happy. But as even Frank Lampard mentioned in many of his press conferences to myself and to my colleagues, that it was a very, very big squad. So we'll just wait and see how many we'll see going out. But, of course, Mauricio Pochettino will want to bring a few in of his own as well.
Yeah. OK, just recap that news again then.
The breaking news is Chelsea have agreed to sign Mateo Kovacic. More on that as we get it throughout the day. But it looks like he is leaving Chelsea and joining Manchester City.
There we go. Thank you.